Everyone, it's Madison with Future Farm Hemp in Baldwin, Wisconsin, and today we're talking about something that affects millions of people to varying degrees, and that would be anxiety. It's a little bit different for everyone out there. We're all unique individuals, and for some people, it's just certain situations that are anxiety inducing, and for other people, it's debilitating and it's a complete way of life, which is no good way to live. So, we're going to touch on a little bit of that today, and I'm going to say right away that we are not doctors here at FFH, Future Farm Hemp. We are not medical professionals, but we do have a lot of experience with hemp and genetics, so we are experts in hemp, in that. We're production specialists, we're holistic consultants, but this shouldn't be taken as medical advice. What I'm going to share with you today is studies that have been completed so far and the results we've seen here over time, so it's very exciting. Personally, anxiety is something that I've struggled with my whole life. It's been hard to deal with at times, and without getting too far into it, I knew that I needed something that wouldn't replace the anxiety I currently have with a consequential side effect. So excessive fatigue is a big one. The jitters, irritability, all of those things add to your anxiety, whether you have it or not. So addressing the actual problem is key. If you're not getting to the root of the issue, we're not really getting anywhere. And it felt like at times I was sacrificing one thing for another. It was, like I said, it was no way to live. And as I've gotten older, I've really learned that a lot of the time we're given a Band-Aid solution. So might feel some anxiety relief, which is the goal. That's where we want to be at. But then what exactly is happening to the rest of your body? What happens to you over time? What side effects, if any, should you be aware of? And that's something that absolutely should be thought about. It should be talked about out loud. And like I said, it's different with everyone, but it's absolutely worth looking into if that's something you're coping with. Anxiety is not easy to deal with. If you've ever struggled with it, you know that. And if you don't, I think it's great information to have for your loved ones that may struggle with it at some point. Hemp extract, we're going to talk about that. That's a big one. Tincture, for example. It's made up of natural components like CBD. You've heard of CBD, you've heard of THC. In the state of Wisconsin, the THC level legally has to be below 0.3%. So as I've referenced in our first video, that's equivalent to the alcohol in cough syrup. It's very, very minuscule, but it is something that you should be aware of. What that CBD does is it works with our CB1 and CB2 receptors. And I know that sounds scary, but really briefly, they are basically like a database that sends signals to your brain, and it's within your central nervous system. So everything works together in one way or another. And because they're found in our central nervous system, it's got a huge tie to our mood, our emotion, even our digestion. So it's really important to be aware of. Now, you might recognize serotonin as the happy hormone. That's how it's referred to among a lot of people, and it's for good reason, because it relays signals between our nerve cells and thereon from that to our brain. So it plays a huge role in our mood, our emotions, even our appetite and our digestion. And that's because serotonin is made and released in our brains as well as in our gut. So it's really important to know what side effects you should be looking for, what you can expect, because it not only affects your mood, it affects how you eat, if you're hungry, if you're not hungry. It affects multiple aspects of your life, and that goes for any medication, not just those related to anxiety or depression. If you really, really want to dig deep into how this works, I would recommend going to projectcbd.org. It's where we get a lot of our information, and I'll link that to this video, of course, but they are a great resource for anything CBD related, and therefore hemp, cannabis, marijuana related, whatever term you like to use. We found that CBD interacts with all of the components I mentioned before: your mood, your emotion, your central nervous system, which controls those things. And it's a more natural way to get a similar effect to your standard anxiety or depression medication or a treatment plan. Like I said before, I'm going to keep reiterating that every single human being out there is going to be different. What works for you may not work for someone else, and vice versa. So that's why it's so important to talk about it and to keep it in the forefront. It is also important to say that without a well-balanced lifestyle, there isn't much room for progress with any sort of supplement, any sort of therapy, or medication in general. I'm not saying you've got to be a bodybuilder, and I'm not saying it's got to be the first thing you think about in the morning, but making sure that you are fueling your body with what it needs. And that by that I mean what it needs to feel good and to function properly and to keep you upright, healthy, and alive is just as important as anything you're putting in your body. Getting regular exercise, even a little bit, just take a walk. I mean, it's a huge factor in how your body responds to anything, both immediately and over time. I do want to mention also that we are really excited about the products we have to offer, so please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns at any time. We're a local company with a lot of faith in what we do. CBD has impacted every single one of us in one way or another and continues to do so. Any one of us would be happy to talk to you about your options anytime. And the reason I bring this up is because anxiety, depression, stress, it affects so many people. Every single one of us watching this video knows and loves someone that has struggled with this at some point in their life, and it seems hopeless at times. It really, really does. Everybody's going to react to it a little bit differently, and by that I mean both the, you could call it a medication or a supplement that you use, and also the illness itself. It manifests in many different ways. And for me, even though I felt relief with a typical anxiety medication when I was younger, and we adjusted a dosage over time, I did all my research. We all really looked deep into it, and as I got older, it started to be less effective and actually have adverse effects. So those things are things I'm still dealing with, and I say that not to scare anyone, but to bring it to the forefront as something that needs to be normalized, it needs to be talked about, and your mental health is just as important as your physical health, always. I personally use this tincture I showed you earlier, made here at Future Farm Hemp in Baldwin, and I use it once a day. I love it. It's done wonders for me. Like I've said before, CBD is not a miracle cure. It's not a one-size-fits-all type situation, as incredible as that would be. That's just not the case. But this is a great tool to have in your toolbox. It's a great resource to have. And we've really seen some great results with it over time. So we want as much feedback as possible. There is a sale going on this month that I'd love for you to check out on our online shop. But no matter what CBD product, no matter what hemp extract you choose to use, we want your feedback. We want to know how it works for you. If there are any questions or concerns, if there's anything we can take into account for the future products, future educational opportunities, we really want to talk about it. We want to get it out there, and we want to see how it's working for you. So I'll add all these details in the comments of this video, as well as some really helpful links I've found that I refer to quite a bit. Thanks for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and please just remember that you are never out of options. Never. There's always something we can do. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll get back to you about what we're talking about next week, so please be sure to tune in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.